What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Kevin Anytime and my boy Zach. We are on the Mindset Matters channel where we talk about different mindset topics. So, if you are interested in mindset, make sure you like and subscribe. And then, if you find value from this video, please share it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about air. So we are in the elements of life, which is a course inside of the Mindset Matters Institute. And these are the different topics that we're talking about right now, the different things that you go through in the Institute. And so today we're in the air section, which is trust. And so we're talking about trust today and what is trust to you. So a couple things out of the actual program. What we cover is inner dialogue, right? That's one of the things we cover. We're also going to cover who or what do you trust, okay? And then the last thing we're going to talk about is building confidence because that all surrounds that same thing, okay? So, as far as inner dialogue, have you guys ever thought about that? What about you, Zach? Have you ever thought about the inner dialogue and then how did that change your perspective or open your awareness to that concept?
Okay, yeah. Inner dialogue, something that I guess I had thought about it, but it's just, I think we keep coming back to like mindfulness, but thinking about, what are you telling yourself? Are you saying that maybe some people are feeling like they're worthless? Some people are feeling, lonely inside. They're feeling kind of hopeless, maybe with maybe their job. Maybe they're feeling like out of place. Maybe they've got some family issues that they feel like they just can't get out of. So it kind of not only inner dialogue for myself, but also understanding maybe where other people's inner dialogue is because of certain situations. Um, I'd like to think that over the past year or two, really since the pandemic, um, my inner dialogue has gotten a lot better. Just because I've focused on myself a lot more. And so telling myself, even when there's tough times, you can do this. Um, you know, just pushing yourself forward, um, recognizing that things are difficult, sure. But when you have that confidence in yourself and you have that constant positivity flowing through, that good inner dialogue, I feel like it's just a lot more, you feel a lot more content in your life. So, what about you? What do you think about like maybe your inner dialogue now, maybe where you've come from? Like, what's that look like for you?
Yeah, I think inner dialogue is incredibly important to first initially try and solidify something, right? It's you gotta really, because sometimes it might not be something that's very consistent. It might be a lot of different things you have, uh, and then it might be more different negative things that are sticky as opposed to positive sayings to yourself, right? Because for me, the reason why I instituted this in the course is because I recognized that that was something that I had strong inside of me. My inner dialogue was always like I can do anything. Like I'm an incredibly talented and um athletic individual. I always feel young. I'm not getting older type of a dialogue inside of my head. It's like
Gotcha.
I can quickly, it's like my brain automatically rebuttals certain things because I feel so strongly in that mind state of things.
Yeah.
Of like, no, I'm capable, like I'm super capable. And I think that's what helps push through a lot of the initial phases of building this is because it's like there's because I say a lot of like I don't know what it is that makes me keep going. I don't know what it is that I'm like I'm not gonna stop. I just know that I'm not gonna stop. It's part of the inner dialogue. The inner
Oh yeah.
dialogue in me is like, dude, if you keep going, you're gonna make it. Like you got this. You can do it, man. You've seen it. You know you're talented. You know you have the skills. You know you got the mindset. Just keep going. Just don't worry about it. And that's literally what pulls me along. You know what I mean? Especially in dark times, it's important to have some form of inner dialogue to lean back on. So that's why I threw it in there because I think it's important for people to first of all be aware of what is it. Do you always say, oh, man, I keep failing, or I cannot get right, or
Right.
I just can't get my act together. You know what I mean? Like those type of things, if they're really, really sticky, because we can say that to ourselves sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
but you gotta really think, is it part of your that sticky inner dialogue that's constantly berating you with this is what it is. and
Right.
and for me specifically, I know for sure mine is more positive than not, even though I'm very critical over myself. I know that mine is more positive because that's what helps me through a lot of stuff. But that
Right.
that was one of the reasons why I put this in there, because I'm like, people really need to be aware of their inner dialogue to see, okay, what really is it? Is it more demoralizing than anything? Because if it is, then you do have to put this practice into place until you change it to where it's like, no, I'm capable. No, I can make it through. No, I'll get it. It'll be okay. That type of stuff. It'll be okay. It'll work out for me. God's got me. All of that type of stuff is inner dialogue. And if people don't have that inside of themselves, or if they're not even aware of it, then it's something to pay attention to for sure. So yeah. So what comment, guys, what is your inner dialogue, and have you even thought about that? Is there anything that you feel you've encountered in your life, or you've heard, or you've seen, or have you paid attention to the stuff that's inside of your head? Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it, uplifting? Is it demoralizing? Really think about that. But comment below, what do you think your inner dialogue is? All right. All right. So the other component to trust is really just recognizing what is it, who and what do you actually trust. How do you define it to yourself? Because I think everybody kind of has maybe their own little definition of it. um but what are your thoughts, Zach? What's who or what is trust to you?
Yeah. So trust, I would say complete confidence in something or someone. Um, I think that, I I remember this in high school. Like I went to this Bible Bible study type thing at school one day, and the guy that was speaking that day was talking about how, you know, man will fail you always, but God you can constantly trust in. And that's stuck with me for my whole life. And that was actually when I was a freshman. So I was probably like 14 years old. And so that I always go back to, when all else fails on this earth, you can always go back to God, trust in Him, trust in His Word. Um, I think I know this is talked about in the program, but learning to trust yourself, trust the decisions that you make. Not every decision that you make is going to be right, but the fact of the matter is you were confident in it, and you're going to mess up. That's part of life. But I think that trusting in, um, you know effort, your work ethic, trusting in, um, people around us, like having certain relationships, friends, family. um, it's important to have that, and I think it also, when we have those connections, it builds confidence in yourself too, having the right people around you, um, and just having, that trust within. It's gonna kind of mirror through the rest of your life. So big time, trust to me is just unwavering confidence, essentially, in something or someone. What about you?
Yeah, this was something that I probably hadn't thought about until I actually implemented it into the program. I knew it was important though, because for me, it was really trying to figure out what does that really mean to me? Like, what does it really mean to trust somebody? What is it really, what am I really saying when I say I trust you? I trust you, man. Like, okay, what does that mean? And so when I was thinking about it, I'm like, this is really important for life, because if you can't trust anybody, that affects everything, man. It affects your entire living experience, and it's hard to move forward a lot of times if you always feel like you can't trust anything or anybody. It's interesting because one of the big things that I disagreed with, because I remember seeing this Tupac clip, and I think Tupac was a amazing, incredible poet and rapper, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the things he said, I was like, that's what's up. But what I really used to think about is he was like, don't trust nobody, like don't ever put all your trust in anybody. And I'm like, I get why he's saying that from his living experience, but there if he would have converted that, if he would have converted that and changed it to something, I think it would have went a little different for him. And that's just my main belief, man, is that because he held on to that so strongly, there wasn't anybody he could trust. There wasn't
Mm,
anybody he could trust. You know what I mean? It's like, I think if you really force that thought, that frequency of like you can't trust anybody, it's the same thing with fear. It's like it's going to show up in your life that way. And for me, what I think, what I really truly think God has given me the ability to do is to test out the theories of that nature. And one of them in my life really was just being okay, just being trusting, just openly trusting to certain individuals until proved wrong. You do go through some bumps and bruises, but at the end of the day, you do find trustworthy people. And when you see that that is a possibility, then it throws an entire new dynamic on your life and your living experience. And so when I really dove into that, I'm like, no, you can't just say don't trust nobody, and you can't trust your closest and all of this stuff. It's like if you do that, then you're automatically projecting that type of frequency. So it's like, what's really crazy is for instance, me and my ex would have conversations, and I don't mean to go real long on this, but this is very important. Me and my
okay.
ex would have conversations, and she would be like, so you mean to tell me that I'm controlling you by what I say? And I would tell her, like, dude, okay, in a way, yes, because you emanate a frequency, and if you consistently think that I'm doing something wrong, it's gonna show up for you that way, even if I may not feel that I'm doing anything wrong. But
Hmm.
if you consistently push that idea, your mind's gonna find it some kind of way in whatever I'm doing. So yeah, in a way, you are controlling me, because what you're projecting out is what you will see in me. And that's kind of hard to grasp for certain people, because it's like, no, we can't control people by what we say and what we, how we're thinking. It's like, but in a way you do, because you're gonna see it that way. So are you directly affecting their actions? Probably not. But are you gonna see sometimes the actions of the other individual in the light that you're wanting to see it? Yes, yes, you will, 100%. And that's why figuring out what trust means to you is so really incredibly important, because I've gone through life, and it's funny because I'll always mention, I'll say a lot that I haven't been through anything. It's like I've been through a couple things, but in reality, the way that I feel is it isn't as bad as other examples that I've seen. It isn't, as tumultuous as certain people's lives that I've read about. So I'll just be like, no, it wasn't that bad. And everything I think about is like, no, it wasn't that bad. I lived a great life, even though there are things that I can mention that was like, oh, okay, that wasn't great, or this wasn't a beneficial situation. But because I hold the idea of life can be better, life is good, and I want to trust people, that's, to me, I'm following the example of Jesus, to be honest with you. That's how I feel, is because I believe one of his main things was literally giving people that opportunity to be trusted. You know what I mean? It's like, did he know the disciples was gonna go to sleep on him? No, he was just like, y'all keep on the watch. I'll be back. And it's like, did he? And he was trusting them. He was trusting them to do that. And he came back a couple times, like, come on, man. Um,
Yeah.
but he was giving that opportunity every rip, dude. Every rip he was giving them the opportunity to be trustworthy. So it's like, I want to go in that realm, because I feel like you just feel better by
Mm.
doing that. You just feel like a better person to go in that direction. But sorry, it was a really long explanation, but
No,
um
I like
that's
that.
pretty much what I was thinking, man. Um so yeah, so and that kind of will tie all this up into building confidence, because that's another factor in the whole trust in the air element. And building confidence to me was really important, because it helps you to trust into yourself.
Mhm.
Because I think the only way you can build confidence is by doing things that scare you, and then once you realize you can do them, you trust yourself a little more. But what's your thought about it?
Yeah, so obviously all of these tie together in the air element. But building confidence, like I said, trust to me is confidence in things, people, um, and then if we talk about inner dialogue, I think when you have the right inner dialogue, you're building confidence within yourself. Um, and think about this, like when we have habits kind of tailing off from what we talked about last time, discipline, when you have certain disciplines, like when you start going to the gym, you start exercising, you start feeling better, and in turn you start feeling better about yourself. Maybe you look in the mirror, your body looks better. Maybe you're getting better sleep, and you don't get up and drag through the day. Like you just feel better, and you're in feeling better, you have more confidence in yourself. Maybe just in appearance wise and in your mindset, you're like, oh, I can do this. Like these things, these disciplines that I have, they're building trust and building confidence within me. So definitely think confidence is one thing, in the world in the world we're in today, that is definitely needed to be hammered on, because so many people are just not confident in themselves. They have self-doubt, and I think that that is something positive that we're sharing with the world, that you know it's okay to be confident in yourself. You don't want to be cocky and arrogant. That's probably not a good thing. But when athletes get up, on the podium after a game, um, and they credit their teammates, sure, but that they say I played a good game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can be confident in your abilities. So confidence is a huge factor in self improvement, and um, I think we need to pay closer attention to that, especially in these times.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, yeah, that's and one of the main reasons why I implemented this part of it, like this question or this activity, is because um it is, man. I think if you don't have confidence in yourself, that also makes it hard to trust either yourself or other people, because
Yeah.
you don't really know what that feels like, right? You don't really know what that trusting, that confident, I think you can handle this type of feeling is. And that's, it starts on the inside, man. I really truly believe that it starts inside of yourself, to be able
Hmm.
to be like, okay, I can trust somebody else with this. Because it's, for me, the concept is, once you feel it, then you understand it even more, which allows you to be able to give it out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, I can say, hey, because it's like you feel it, and then you end up knowing that somebody else can feel that, and somebody else can
Right.
be trustworthy, and somebody else can
Right.
have that confidence in themselves. So that was one of the main things that I thought about, because I was like, no, it's important to build confidence and to be very solid in your thinking and stuff like that, to be able to really push forward in whatever you're trying to do. Because if you
Hmm.
if you don't have it, you just don't. And you got to build it. It's not something that's automatically in people. I don't think. I think it always has to be built, no matter what. But I was gonna say, man, what um, that's that scripture that you pulled up. What was that again? Can you go over that one
Yeah.
more time?
Yeah. So it's Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's because that's why, again, that's why this trust is, it's air. You know what I mean? You see the air, you feel the air. You can't. Oh well, you don't see the air, but you feel the air, right? You
Yeah.
see the air represented in other things being moved, but you
Right.
get, again, you can't see physical air. I can't bottle air and be like, here it is, and you're like, oh yeah, I see it. It's like, no, it looks like nothing's in the bottle.
Right. Right.
So that's where I was really trying to hone in on, like, really understanding the trust aspect of mainly yourself first, because you can try to relinquish it to other people, but if your internal is saying, I don't want to trust it, or I don't believe it, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
then it's not going to effectively translate to your outer environment. And that's what's really
Right.
important, to be able to do these things, to find, not to find yourself, but to awaken that inner fire inside, that everybody, I feel like, has inside of themselves,
Yeah.
to really push forward for a mission, or whatever their goal is. You gotta have that confidence that you can do it. You can do it, and once you can do that, it can translate to so many different other things, man. It's just, that's how I feel it goes down. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
man.
with you.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Did you have anything else, dog? Any words of wisdom?
I don't think so. I think that, keeping up with, all of this ties in with, developing yourself. I think the air really, like Kev just said, you can't see it, when the wind's blowing through, you feel it. But you're not necessarily seeing it. So, that's what this is all about, trusting in things we don't see, having faith, um, that good things are on the horizon, and even when things aren't going so well, trusting that you'll get past that, and what you can learn from it. So Air's a big one, you know, having that trust, having that confidence. I mean, I think most people know it's huge. It's huge um, to have faith in yourself, to have faith in others, and like have that. I think it's really good for connecting with others. You know, when you feel like someone really trusts you, maybe you have like a deep conversation. Um, you know, it just gives off like a positive vibe. You know, we keep saying trust and confidence, but it gives you that connection really, with others when you really sit down and they can trust you through something maybe tough that they're going through, or sharing something that's like super great. Maybe they got a promotion or lost 50 pounds, you know, things like that. So definitely think it's super powerful, to helping us focus on the good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, y'all. So comment below. All right, comment below. If you, who do you trust? What do you trust? What does trust mean to you? Comment below. Let us know, y'all. We would love to hear from you. All right. But outside of that, again, y'all, this has been Kevin Anytime and my boy Zach on the Mindset Matters channel, where we talk about different mindset topics. All right. And so if you are interested in mindset, you definitely want to like and subscribe. Okay, and if you found value from this video, please share it with someone. Even if you share it with one person, that would help us out a lot. Okay, and so if you are interested in these things that we've been talking about, the different elements and how they tie in, this is a part of the Mindset Matters Institute. It's part of our program. Look, more information is on the website www.mindsetmattersmore.net. All right, so go ahead and check that out. And then next week we'll be wrapping up the final parts of it, where we'll be talking about water, which is the last element. All right, so stay tuned for that as well. But other than that, always remember, y'all, mindset matters more than anything else. Okay, let's focus on the good, and we will see you guys next time. Anytime, and Zach.